Today we're going to be talking about Jamestown. So in 1606, King James the ruler of England, granted permission to the Virginian Company to sponsor a colony in America. So the Virginian Company sponsored their colony, and they got 144 men to go to the Americas to make their colony. So they set their colony in Chesapeake Bay, and they set it near the James River. So they named it Jamestown because after the ruler King James. The settlers picked Cape Henry to set up their colony. It was near James River. They chose that place because they thought that it would be idle to defend it from tribes, from local tribes. The way they set up their colony, it was like a triangular shape. So they will be able to defend themselves from any tribes. You can see right here, and these are the tribes. And these are the Powhatan tribes. And this is Jamestown. So they started. They made a triangular fort to protect themselves from local tribes, but the place they chose was swampy. And it had lots of mosquitoes, and the Powhatan tribe and local tribes were there to attack the Jamestown colony. In summer, they had lots of mosquitoes and poisonous water. And in winters, it was really bitter cold, and a lot of people starved during the winters. So the first settlers were all men who hoped to get the riches in Jamestown and then go to England to enjoy those riches. But they lacked in finding food in the wilderness, not knowing how to hunt. They lacked in those basic things. The first year in Jamestown, so more than half of the settlers died in Jamestown because they were drinking poisonous water and getting diseases from mosquitoes like malaria and dengue. Settlers who survived only had help with the Powhatans by trading, and after a year, the supply ship from England came to Jamestown. So the people in Jamestown, they died because of the poisonous water and the mosquitoes, because the mosquitoes were carrying malaria and dengue with them. So the Powhatans and the Jamestown did not get along, but the Powhatans wanted guns, metal axes, and shovels to defend themselves from other local tribes, and the Jamestown people wanted food so they could survive. So there was a war going on with them, but there was also lots of trading going on with the Jamestown and the Powhatan tribe. So John Smith became the president of the colony, and he was also elected the president of the House of Burgesses. He was the last remaining member in the House of Burgesses. So the House of Burgesses are basically when a lot of government people, they come there and they make laws. And John Smith was one of them. So the colony survived only because of him. After he became the president of the House of Burgesses, he made a law saying that the people who do not work, they do not eat. So even the rich people who do not work and then tell other people to work for them, if they do not work, they do not get to eat. So he made everybody in the Jamestown colony to work. A lot of rich people did not like it, but they had to obey his laws so that they could survive. In 1669, he got injured and had to sail back to England to recover. So John Smith got injured by an explosion, so he had to sail to England. So after John Smith left the colony, 60 out of 500 settlers survived. Like a lot of people had died, and only 60 people remained in the Jamestown colony. So in the winter it was so bad that some people had to eat rats, their own leather boots, and poisonous snakes. One person killed his wife and ate her, and some others dig up the remaining corpses of their neighbors. So the Jamestown failed for many years until when John Ralph became the leader of the Jamestown colony. He introduced tobacco and sold in England, and that became a hit in England. And a lot of people would pay high amounts of money just for the tobacco, and that was called the cash crop of Virginia. So John Smith introduced tobacco and sold it to England. Now, Jamestown became a really successful colony. So, the Democrat government. So, in 1619, the colonies formed the Democrat government, and in the same year, African slaves arrived to Jamestown. They went from Africa to Jamestown. So, the Virginia Company got some slaves from Africa. To help grow the tobacco because they needed some labor. As growing tobacco was not easy. So in 8 years of peace, in 1614, John Ralph married the Powhatan's daughter. And this led 8 years of peace between the colonists and the Native Americans. So in 1624, Virginia became a royal colony ruled by the King of England. Jamestown was Virginia's first capital. In 1699, the capital was moved to Williamsburg. In conclusion, Jamestown was the first successful colony in the Americas. They came in 1606. In 1612, they introduced tobacco. In 1614, the 8 years of peace between the Powhatans and the colonists. In 1624, Virginia became a royal colony.